Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jason.
I'm Julie.
And we're Destination Full Time. And today we're going to do something different. What are we doing, Julie?
We have a bunch of lovely ladies that have come together to talk about what they think about full-time RVing. So you're going to get it from a lady's perspective today.
Yeah, we've ran all the men off. I'm going to disappear. Actually, I'm going to do the filming so they can focus on what they are going to talk about, which is, again, what they think of full-time RV living. Let's jump into it.
We sold our house along with almost everything we owned, and we packed up the RV to live a lifestyle on the road. Now we're free from sticks and bricks and that old life we used to know. Come and join on our adventures, all the places that we'll go. And living in the RV is sublime. Destination Full Time.
So we're going to start with who you are and how long you've been a full-time RVer.
Hi, I'm Caitlin, and I've been full-time RVing for 2.5 years.
Hi, I'm Suzanne, and I've been full-time RVing for 1.5 years.
Hi, I'm Carla, and I've been full-time RVing for 2.5 years.
And you know how long I've been doing it.
I'm Addie, and you know how long I've been doing it for, but I don't do it anymore.
Hi, I'm Dawn. I've been RVing for 2.5 years.
So I'm kind of wondering, and I think our audience would like to know, is what led you to here? What made you decide that you wanted to be a full-time RVer? And how many people thought you were crazy for doing it?
And how many still think we're crazy for
Yes,
doing it?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So who wants to answer that?
And I bet all of our stories are completely different.
Who wants to
So
go?
I'll go.
All right.
So for my husband and I, we had this beautiful home out in Dawsonville, and it was great, but we realized one day that we would have to work for the rest of our lives to maintain that beautiful home that we had. So we just decided we were going to just sell it all, get an RV, and hit the road and see how we like it. So far we're loving life about right now, and everybody does think we're crazy still, including our kids.
And for me, it was kind of a transition. So in 2019, I met this hiking group. One of them was a weekender RVer, and had always talked about going full-time. So I kind of got the bug, and I decided, you know, when my son graduates from high school, I'm gonna buy a camper van and I'm gonna tour the country. And met with my therapist, and he said, well, you know, a camper van doesn't really allow for another person in your life, but you might want to think bigger. So I then met my now fiance, and I'm now in a 41 footer. So I did go bigger, and did allow for room for somebody else.
But you had never RV'd before.
And
you had never even stayed in one.
Right, I had never RV'd, never anything. And it's funny because I was going to RV shows, dealerships, everything. I've walked in and out of every RV you could possibly imagine. And then my friend Beth said, oh, Montana, you just have to do. So I narrowed it down to Montana's, and that's how I ultimately ended up with the RV that I'm in.
We went on a trip with Jason that you didn't get to go on for some reason, and he and Stan were talking about it, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, let's sell our house and go RV. And to be honest, I looked at Stan and thought he quite frankly lost his mind.
Was he drinking that night?
No, he was not. However, we got to talking about it, and then, you know, we realized that we have this big house and we live in a living room, a bedroom, and, you know, we take a shower, and we're like, well, an RV has that. So basically he and Jason convinced me that that was the thing, and I love it. However, we want to travel, and we are going to travel, but I do want a sticks and bricks house again.
I've been a camper for about a couple of decades, and I joined a camping group, and most of the campers had RVs, and a few of them were full-timers. Well, when it came time for me to get a divorce, or when I was separating from my husband, I was all prepared to go get an apartment, and I went on a internet date and the date didn't turn out, but he lived in his RV. And when I saw it, I was in awe. And I just went out, bought a brand new RV, and the rest is history. I love it. It was the best choice. I can pick up and go anywhere I want. I don't have to break a lease. I don't have to get boxes. I don't have to hire a moving company. I can just put everything, hook up to a truck and go.
So, do you have storage? We just did a video about storage and how we learned we were just wasting money, but some people do still need a storage because you have nowhere to put your important things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do have storage. I have a storage room in Charlotte, which I'll be bringing here within the next few months.
We just vacated one, so you can have that one.
Yeah. Well, and I have storage, but only because I don't have like any family or anybody that I can take the keepsakes that I want to keep. So I will keep my storage until my son is graduated from college, and then when he's on his own, then he can take his keepsakes with him, and I'll be done with storage at that point.
Yeah, we still have storage too, and our storage is basically for things like that, for keepsakes and for things that we want to do when we build our forever home, as we call it, because we will be, we'll be building a house, because I want a place for my kids to come and have Christmas and things of that nature, but then we'll be on the road also.
Okay, so you do want to go back to a sticks and bricks?
Yes.
I love my RV. I don't ever see me going back to a home at all.
Yeah. Well, we have storage as well. Actually, we have 3. So we're still narrowing down. And my husband, who is not in the picture, who can't be because this is a girl chat, would tell you that we have
He actually did want to join us.
He did. He did. He even has a girly cub. But anyway, he says that one of the units is just for my shoes, which is totally not true, sort of.
I did hear that rumor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Way, I get it.
So, yeah. Anyway, we're whittling down. Getting rid of, slowly but surely, everybody's taking everything they want to take. Now we just got to call the whoever to come pick up the rest of what nobody wants. Sticks and bricks. I do want a small, when I talk house, small, I want a small house at some point. Haven't determined that yet. My only reason for that would be that I really don't have enough room in the RV to have my 6 grandchildren over and really enjoy them spending the night and doing that kind of thing, which can be a good thing, but it's also not a good thing. So that's it for me.
Although you could get a Tajma tent and have them in the tent, and then, hey, you're good to go.
Then you'd have to stay in the tent with them.
Right.
Or could we
right.
just make David do that?
No, that would never happen.
Never happened.
I will say I'm the same as Suzanne when it comes to keepsakes. Even with me moving out and not living in an RV anymore, I can't get rid of things. I'm very sentimental. I love my shoes. So I live in an apartment and I have a storage unit that's just my stuff, and it's full. And it probably won't be gotten rid of for a very, very long time. But I mean, with living in the RV, there were a lot of things that I didn't want to get rid of, and there were a lot of things that I knew family was passing down to me, and I didn't really have anywhere to put them. I probably would never go full-time RVing again after doing it for a long time, but I would own an RV and I would go on weekends and stuff. But I am just too sentimental, and I love stuff. I love shoes, I love clothes, I love just any kind of keepsake, so I probably would never do it. I couldn't downsize enough. I would lose my mind if I did. So
But you're young.
I am young.
As you get older, that might change.
Maybe, but I will probably turn out like Suzanne.
This lifestyle is not for everybody. Not everybody can do this, so it's relative to everybody.
You're right,
Okay,
it's an
so-
adjustment.
Right. Okay, so on that note, has anybody had one of those oops moments when they thought, what am I doing? Because
you did on
I
the first
did,
day.
I did
Yes.
on my first day, yes.
Yes,
Yeah, absolutely.
all the time.
Yeah.
So
But,
I never had an oops. I'm perfectly happy here in my RV. I love it so much. The biggest question I get asked is, how do you and your husband stay in something so small all the time and not be at each other's throats? And I don't know, it just works for us. We've really never had an argument, a tiff over space or any of that, and I'm just truly blessed. Not sure why we haven't. We just never argued anyway, really. So we just are squished down into something, a little box, and we still don't argue. So there you go.
Okay, hold on. I gotta. I'm pretty sure I did hear your husband say that you hog like 80% or 90% of the closet. And he didn't get upset by that?
He does no. His clothes fold.
Hey, he gets a closet. My fiance is getting an office.
They didn't say how big it had to be, right? I mean, it could be this way.
Yeah.
Like a man's closet only needs to be this big.
Well,
Women's need to be this big.
Well, and he has more drawers than I do. Not literal drawers, but he has. Well, he does have more of those too. But I mean, the drawers you pull out, he has more of that kind of space than I have. But
I will say with like
Yeah.
a family, it's very similar. I thought I was going to want to kill my parents. And there were times that I did, but I mean, that's just
That
from
you
being a
did want to
teenager.
kill us?
Oh yeah, still do sometimes, but that's another.
Yeah, I remember helping you clean out your room.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
fun.
That
I
was-
remember sitting in your room and saying, "Do you really need this? Yes. Do you really need this?
Yeah.
Yes." And I was like, "Jason and Julie, this is a lost cause. You let them just take everything."
Yeah, I mean,
There goes storage.
I thought I was gonna be a lot more at y'all's throats than I ended up. It honestly brought us closer than I thought it would. Not that I didn't want that, just I didn't think it was gonna happen. But I will say that we didn't fight as much as everybody thinks we would fight from having no privacy whatsoever between each other.
But you did
But I
spend-
mean, I got my own bathroom, so
But
that's
you
where I
spent the
hid
night
out.
at Friends a lot too.
Yeah, I did.
So we still got
Working
our
a
privacy.
lot, yeah. But I mean, I got my privacy from having my own bathroom. I just sat in there for like hours.
so I guess there is something to be said about having your own bathroom. We have a bath and a half, so I've claimed the back one because I have that closet, so of course I'm going to hog that bathroom. And then he gets the smaller one because
go with this small
closet. So, you know, that helps a lot to have, like, he's got a little space and I have a little space, and all is well with the world. Earphones help a lot too, because I kind of I hear things that he might not hear, and so he has things turned up loud like television and watching like two things at once, which I can't do, and that drives me crazy. So he wears his little earphones and does his thing while I'm working and have mine on and work away, and at the end of the day it's 5 o'clock, we come outside and we're camping. It's awesome.
Well,
I
and
think that was something that was a challenge for us before Stan retired. You know, we were both working from home, so the challenge was how do you be on a Zoom call? How do I do my work? You know, how do we separate and not, you know, because hearing you talk, I can't think because I work from home, but he's on calls all day long. So that was a challenge for us at first.
and you also had to remember that sometimes he was actually on camera.
Yes, sometimes he was actually on camera, so I couldn't walk across in my PJs because everybody in the world would see, hey, Carla's in her PJs today.
So it is hilarious because I have my screen's blurred in the back for my Zoom calls, but every now and again he'll walk to the refrigerator and my teammates will say, I think your husband's getting something out of the fridge. I said, yeah, I know. But if he's going to be back there for a long time or whatever, he usually tells me and has me cut the camera, so it's not there. But it's hilarious that, you know, when your friends know you're doing this, they just kind of think it's super cool. So every little weirdity like that's like a novelty to them. They love it so much.
Okay, so you know what's interesting? So I do not have a blurred screen or anything. You see out my back window, and every single time I have my camera on, people are expecting to see bears and they're expecting to see deer, and I'm like, I live in an RV park, but okay, you might see that, but not in a very populated area.
But in that instance, you're the only person I know that does not want to take their RV with them, would rather go in a tent. And I think that's really cool because you like to be one with nature and you like your hammock and you like to do that. So they won't see that out of your RV, but they would see that out of your tent.
My tent, yeah.
Because you have worked out of your tent.
I have. So that's interesting. We all work from home.
Yes.
So we all work from home. So
For the most part. I mean, I work 3 days a week in the office.
okay.
Yeah.
So So that's the other thing. I mean, we're all full-time RVers and we all still work, so.
Yeah, and see, that was the thing for us. Originally, we were not supposed to be stationary. We were not. Because I worked at home, he worked at home. We were going to travel the U.S. and see the things that, you know, there are to see. But my job that I had at the time wouldn't let me go. So I got to a point where I found another job, and now that's the reason we want a small home like you know, just a place that we can call home where the kids and grandkids can come for Christmas, Thanksgiving. But the rest of the time we want to travel. We want to see what it's all out there.
My husband and I still want to travel, but what we found is, after, you know, of course, after COVID and then diesel, the prices were ridiculous. With the first year, we sort of kind of were learning about this RV life, and our grandkids live right near us, all 6 of them. So we want to be kind of stationary to a point since while they're young. Then we're going to start moving.
And now talk about some of the crazy things that have happened while RVing or as an RVer. What are some just wild and wacky things? I know my friends have some really cool stories for you, so we're gonna share those.
I think nothing major has ever really happened other than when you first buy an RV, when you buy it off a lot, there is always something wrong with it. I mean, no, there's always, for me, it was all of the plumbing, it was all loose, and so my trailer flooded a couple of times. One of the windows was upside down, so all of that, I had to go bring my RV back to the dealer, and they had to fix all that stuff, which meant I didn't have a home for a week until they fixed it. So that's the only issue, is when something does go wrong, do you have to bring it to the dealer for the warranty, or do you have somebody come to you and fix it? Most of the time you learn how to do it yourself.
I don't know if this was a gone wrong thing or not, but somehow we left the water. We were trying to find out. I'm not really sure what we were trying to find out, but somehow water got left on in something. It ended up going up through the lines and coming out through the light fixtures, every light fixture, every crevice in the ceiling. I screamed at my husband to come in, and I've got buckets. I'm standing on the bed holding buckets, not knowing what's going on, to catch all this water. He comes in, he goes to the bathroom, not thinking, flushes the toilet, and I hear this blah with expletives, blah, 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 blah. We had a poop explosion. Not his from right that minute, but from past.
The black tank
flew up from the black tank all over that little bathroom, all over him. I'm still holding buckets with water. I couldn't get down. He's getting down. Anyway, it was it was not pretty, just to say. But we're still married. We lived through it. All is good. RV's clean.
He got a shower.
Poop's clean. All's good.
So I had a similar incident. So being a girl, I love to drive the RV. I love to do anything with that RV except mess with the tanks or mess with anything that has to do with fixing anything. That's not my thing. Although I am learning. So my husband left on a trip one time. We were at a campground, and he told me before he left, I dumped your tanks, I did this, everything's good. You don't have to do anything. And I'm like, oh, cool, I'm good. So Carla works in her PJs. So we're at this campground. This nice man's next to me. They come through and say they're cutting off the water. And I'm like, what do you mean you're cutting off the water? What do I do? So I, call my husband. He tells me what to do. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So all of a sudden, while they're cutting the water off, I hear this bloop in the toilet. It's like coming up. And I'm like, the water's off. That shouldn't be coming up because there's nothing that should be making that do that. So I flushed the toilet. Well, when I flushed the toilet, it comes up again, and I'm like, oh my Lord. So I'm like calling him, asking him what's wrong.
And where is he? Out of state?
Oh yeah, he's in a meeting with like the CEO of his company at this time. So I'm on the phone and he's like, I can't talk to you. And I'm like, yes, you can. And so anyway, long story short, I go out and beg to the man next door to me, and I was like, my black tank stopped up. Can you help me? And he went, honey, your black tank's not stopped up. It's full. I said, no, it's not. My husband dumped it before he left. He didn't. Yeah. So we're out there. We take the line. It's all nice and neat. I pull the black handle.
You're in your PJs, right?
I am in PJs underneath the camper.
Okay.
With this strange man I don't know. And
nice man, very nice
man. When I pulled the handle, y'all, the slinky thing that he had it on, it went. Yeah. That was the last time Carla went up under the camper. No, that's not my thing.
One of the great things about RVers and in the community that we live in is the fact that if I have a question or I need help with anything, there are so many people to come to my rescue and help me with anything that I need help with. And that is one thing that I never really had living in a neighborhood, living in a house. The community in an RV and a campground is just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you could walk into a campground and know not a single person and have an issue, and people just come and help and are so friendly and willing to do anything, even touch your black tank. I'm just saying, that's not something most people would do.
Yeah, we've had that happen before, and even help you change a tire on the side of the road when you blow out one because you're going down the interstate.
Too fast.
I mean, like, people, it's a camaraderie that it's like no other. Like you said, you don't have that in a neighborhood.
Right.
People are willing to help you. People are nice. People are, I mean, if anybody knows if you need help, and they're going to be there to help you.
Right.
So what I love too is the camaraderie is fantastic, and my husband and I like space, and we always, when you have a house, it's always, I don't want to spit on my neighbor because it's too close, because it's too, you just want your privacy. Doesn't feel that way here, and we're like close to each other, but man, it's just a different vibe when your life is a camping life.
Right.
Yeah, it's just a different life.
There's always camping. There's Friday night fires. I mean, everybody gets together on a regular basis, and it just can't be beat. I mean, people are somewhat jealous of when I'm like, oh, I got to get to my Friday night fire or my, Wednesday Mexican restaurant or something, and they're like, oh yeah, that's right, you and your neighbors. But it's like, it's great. I love it.
But it makes you realize what's important in life. Like with Julie and I, when we were following our husband's crazy ideas and we're cleaning out each other's house, and I go to her house and she's like, oh, you don't need that, I'm like,
yeah,
but
we
I
definitely
do want that.
We had to help each other because it wasn't going to happen.
I
didn't want to get rid of anything.
But you realize what is deep down important in life, and it's not having things, it's the experiences and the memories that you make with the friends and the families that you meet doing this.
Yeah. I mean, we're sitting out almost every evening. Work gets over with 5:30, and we head out here to sit. And we've got Dawn and her dog. We've got Donna and her dog. We've got everybody and their dogs. The dogs are here playing together. We're all sitting here. The neighbors come over. It's like a big party every night. So it's pretty great. It's pretty great.
Yeah, definitely more of a sense of community than I've ever had ever. With people that you don't even know, you feel like your family almost.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
We have people we've met just the short amount of travel we've done at campsites that we're actually going back to meet another couple we met last year at a campground, and they called and said, hey, we found this great campsite. We want you to come stay. So we're going to go down to Florida and hang out at that campsite in November. So that'll be awesome.
It's definitely a great lifestyle. I recommend it to everybody.
Is there anything that we don't like, though, about RVing? Is there anything that you guys don't like? I mean, the only thing I could say that I can't say I don't like, because my husband has tried his best to be very accommodating, but I like to do a lot of crafts, and I clearly don't have the space. But I would say my husband has tried to accommodate me in any way he can so that I continue to be happy with this lifestyle. So I can still do that. I can still do any kind of crafts I want to do within reason. I can't go buy a whole bunch of equipment, but I can still use what I have. Yeah. Absolutely.
And you and Carla are the same in that matter. You both
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, we
she's got her
both like
candles and
crafts.
what-
Yeah,
right.
because I basically am trying to get a candle business off the ground, and to do that, you've got to have space. You can't put them in storage because they melt. But if there's anything I dislike about it, it's probably the space. But it's not that I dislike it enough to say I wouldn't ever do it again.
But you've
because I
got
still
some
travel.
good under storage, so that helps.
Yeah, that helps. Yeah, it does.
Well, I've spent 2.5 years in the RV by myself. In the next couple of months, when my fiance joins me, I'll get back to you on that one to see if if it holds true.
Yeah. I think for me, again, going back to just being able to have family over, because I'm a huge social person. But this has given me the social. I mean, we get to do social things, and I'm loving that. But I do miss the decorating, rearranging thing, because you really can't rearrange in an RV. It is what it is. You can't slide furniture around. You can't do any of that.
You can move a picture. That's
You
pretty
can't. Well, it's highly velcroed on the wall, so you really don't. Or in my case, it is. So anyway, I guess that's probably my hugest, sad spot, is just being able to be creative in that way, because that's my thing.
Mine would definitely be the amount of space that I would get, and the fact that I couldn't have the amount of clothes or shoes that I wanted. And I thought I was gonna miss having my own room a lot more than I did. It turned out that I really didn't need it. I mean, I was never home anyways. So even if we still lived in the house, my room would be pretty much empty. I would never be there except for the rare times I come home. I mean, it's nice that I have a room again, but to me that wasn't the biggest thing. It was just, I like my clothes and I like my shoes, and I like having a lot of like books and like sketchbooks and all those kinds of things, and I would pile them up in the RV, and then I'd be told, you got to get them out of here. You got like 6 or 7 of them. You bring one in, you take one out. Like I was not good at that. I was not good at that. I would go shopping, and my dad would say, all right, you brought 5 things home. You got to take 5 out. And I'd be like, all right, I'll do it later. And then I'd come out of storage, and I'm like, oh, I have a whole new wardrobe, because I would just forget about the stuff. And that is one thing I missed, having all of my stuff together. That way I knew what I had.
Well, ladies, I want to thank you greatly for doing this. And really, we wanted to make sure everybody knew what this group of women thought, because we all represent all the women. There's so many different aspects of RVing, full-time, stationary, loves to travel, works from home. Everyone's different, and we all love it, but we wanted to tell you what we love about it and what we didn't like about it, because you might be thinking about being a full-time RVer and you really need to do your research, but I think overall you'll love it.
You
We
will.
all
You'll
love
love
it.
it.
You will. We love it.
It's worth it.
Love it.
And living in the RV is sublime. Destination full time.